welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you some highlights from the Tamisha Iman / Kandy Muse live stream mayhem from tonight. Now, I may or may not have caused it. Stay tuned to find out why. Now, just in case you don't know what's going on, I'm going to give you a little bit of context before I show you all the tea. Tamisha Iman has come forward saying how she's upset with Monet X Change for reading her multiple times on Monet's and Bob's show, Sibling Watchery, where they review every episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, I'm not going to get super in-depth to that tea, but just know that piece of information going forward. So, last night, Kandy Muse was performing at a bar and was asked the question, what do you think about all this drama going on between Tamisha Iman and Monet X Change? And Kandy had this to say.
In the industry for 30 years, you should have thick skin enough to let some bitch on a podcast talk about you and not give a shit. I have been scrutinized since the first motherfucking week. That was 4 months of bullshit that I endured and did not give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, I am the baddest bitch to ever walk up into a fucking drag race.
Now, how did it get into Tamisha Iman's hands? Well, I reposted it on my account, Daily Drag Race on Instagram. I honestly didn't think any of the queens would see it. I just repost on all drama and stuff. And somehow, pretty much as soon as I posted it, Tamisha saw it. Tamisha went live to show the video and explained her side of the story. Here are some highlights from that. Also, sorry in advance that the screen recording's so shitty. I just honestly was like freaking out because she used my video and I was trying to figure out what was going on at the time. So if I keep typing, that's why, but you'll be able to hear and see what's going on.
About to get started. She can't handle nobody talking about her. It ain't even about that. I promise you, at this point, it's not about that. The thing about when you sign up for something like this, you're gonna be ridiculed by everybody. That's just life, and it's perfectly fine because you put yourself in a position to be talked about everybody. And to be honest, and to be perfectly honest, a lot of things that people say, it will hurt your feelings because you're human. Not because you think you're better than somebody. I don't know no bitch on this planet that is fine with somebody discussing them, dogging them, putting them in a despicable light. I think this comment about Kandy says a lot about Kandy. To keep saying you've been in the industry 30 years as if that is a bad thing. That is a blessing. That is a blessing. So let's start there. And to say you should have thicker skin. I don't think that skin was thick when the tables was turning and the world was against her. I didn't see the thick skin. I didn't see that I didn't give a damn, I don't care. I didn't see any of that. I saw a human that was hurt, that people had turned on her and was judging her on being her. That's how I looked at it. And when it happened, I didn't add fuel to the fire, nor did I stop it, because it wasn't my place to stop it. I never said, hey guys, Kandy is XYZ, jump on the bandwagon, tear it up. I never said anything. My opinion, as the 30-year vet I am, I kept it to myself. I was just like, well, okay. As things went on, things got worse. I didn't agree with why would I agree with anybody threatening her parent or anybody? That's foolish. But what I will say is, this show has a way of giving a lot of girls misconceptions about their drag and their place. I'm very secure of my place in my industry. I don't have to brag and boast or tear nobody down because can't nobody take my spot. I've been here 30 years. So at the end of the day, it may not be the liking of 2001, but it's hard to exist that long of a time without a TV camera promoting you, without the powers that be promoting you. It is hard to stay that relevant in the community on which we all come from. Now, this is, if there was ever the perfect time to crush Kandy, this would be the time. But unfortunately, I really just ain't got the energy. I don't. I mean, I'm glad to know how she feel publicly. When I did my booking in Houston, you know, the community had rushed me and was like, hey, Kandy was here the week that we got snowed in, and she was saying this, that, and the third about you. I didn't take it to heart. I was like, oh, okay. But now that I have physically seen it and witnessed it myself, I'm good. I'm not going to respond. I'm going to let that one slide. Because you can't fight every battle. Nor am I going to try. I just wanted y'all to see, you know, what the difference between me and a lot of other girls. I don't go around picking on girls. You know, to me, I have every right. I have every right. So what is about people not getting refunded? Okay, well then guess what? Let me explain this to you since you want to have this conversation. So the people that hacked my, and please, you know, this to me right now, this is just like, you see me on a whole different topic, but you want to be ignorant and post that. So but I'm going to explain it to you. So the people that hacked my store went in and started deleting people's orders from whenever. Now, had you seen the live earlier, you would have a better understanding of where this is going. What I did not like is the fact that anybody who stated to me, hey, Tamisha, I haven't gotten my order. Can I get a refund? It wasn't that deep. I was giving refunds left and right. I didn't look at it like that. The thing about it is I was hurt behind the fact that y'all did not get the merchandise. I was hurt behind the fact that people wasn't getting the proper emails or the responses of everything that they were due. You had every right to be upset. Every right. Now, what I did state is, when I had to get back into my store and I started to see everything that was done, at this point, I don't know who did it, but I have never, since I've known about this situation and this story with the merchandise, I have never denied anybody of their refund. I have did everything I can possibly do to try to press this and get it done, but the orders keep coming. They keep coming. So what I had to do was I had to go back, and all of January is done. Now all of February. You know what I'm saying? I'm having to do it. When I say the fans are weird, I get it. That you thinking, okay, well, I ain't got my merchandise. I want my money back. I get that. That is totally understandable. But why did you order it in the first place? If you were supporting me, and if I've been as 100% clear as I possibly can, why did you order it in the first place? If I'm willing to give you your money back, I'm willing to fill the orders. I'm doing everything I possibly can. And each and every time, see, because y'all have made this a sport now. She's on live. Let's say merchandise. I get it. It's becoming redundant. It's becoming draining. And at this point, I'm not giving refunds. I am filling orders. You purchased it because you want it. Now, if you still don't want it, throw it in the trash. I understand. But at this point, I don't know how much clearer I can possibly be. My team, the individuals that was doing this, made a tremendous mistake. I was not running this store. Nor did World of One to give me anybody to help me run this store. Nor did World of One to even help me with anything. So I'm not faulting them, but I'm just acknowledging where other girls have had the perfect people put in the perfect place to get everything done. Tamisha has been on her own since day one. And I have been fighting this, and I'm good. I'm cool with it. But all of this, every time y'all see me, I have kept my who hacked it. And yeah, I'm sorry you have to suffer the consequences, but all I can do is refund. Is fill these orders. I'm not refunding anything else, because to me, it was the ultimate of disrespect to hack. First of all, you hacked into my store, and then you took it upon yourself to do something that I was already doing. I was giving refunds. Point blank, period. It's not about the money for me. It was never about the money for me. I'm so sorry. It was about, okay, people are buying your stuff. Let me get it out there, this, that, and the thing. Y'all make it seem as if someone is purposely trying to take your money. And I don't know what has happened in the past. If you check my track record, that's not me. That's not me. I am one person filling 1,000 orders, and there's only so many you can do a day. That's not, I get it is totally my fault. I'm not gonna pass it. It's my fault. But how am I supposed to fix it if every time I come on a live, what about my shoes? Why did you purchase it? If you're still gonna get it, that's still support. So every time you take, to me, that you're taking a jab. And I guess if you miss all the lives, because every time I get on a live, I talk about it. So it's not like I'm running from the problem. I think this is what I be talking about. The toxicness of this fan base. I've answered every question you've asked me. Point blank, period. I've been as honest as I possibly can. Yeah, I did not want to say it because it's embarrassing, because as an African American male coming from a certain demographic, there's a lot of things that our community just don't have access to. So I have been completely honest about it. But now, y'all, the people have taken my kindness for weakness. This is so toxic. This is so toxic. And this is why I address certain things, because maybe in the past, y'all have bullied other people and destroyed other people. And see, this is what I'm saying. Y'all are like, some of y'all fans are the worst. That's why I call y'all. I ain't even here for that, baby. As you see, I don't even have the energy. Take the merchandise. If you don't like it, throw it in the trash, whatever. I'm good. My reasoning for coming on here was to let Kandy know, I saw your video, I got your message, and you're not the best thing that came out of Drag Race. You're just the chosen person of that season for that situation. You're not even the best person that have come out of drag, period. You are delusional. Now, yes, you did place higher than me, but guess what? If the playing field was level, that wouldn't have happened. Trust me, that wouldn't have happened. Now, I have given your props. I haven't said anything, girl. It's a reality show. Hey, it happens. But you're taking it too far, sis. You're really taking it too far. And we really didn't have no beef. That's why I didn't say anything. Me and Kandy made up fine. I don't want to be friends with you. But at the end of the day, I don't talk about you. I don't hate on you. I don't wish any ill will. I wish you all the best. I have been successful in my career. I've had money when girls didn't have money. I've had titles when black girls couldn't win titles. I have paved the way when there was no way. So a crown does not, and you didn't even get the crown. But getting placed higher than other people, that doesn't make me feel better. You know, the thing about it is, humility in this industry goes a long way. Cockiness, girl, they don't last long. So at the end of the day, if that's how you feel about me being 30 years, I should have had tough skin. Maybe I should have. But at the end of the day, it don't seem like your skin too tough if you got to be discussing me, and you made it to the top 4 of the fuckery. So, the thing about it is, I didn't come on here to tear you up, but I did want you to know that I saw it. So when I tear your ass up on the Tamisha Iman show, you earned it. Because I will get you back. I just ain't got the energy. I'm sure y'all can see I'm tired. I don't have the energy. But I think, the thing about it is, it's one thing. Because you could easily pick up the phone and say, Tamisha, let's talk. Well, you can't, because I don't really talk to you. So I get it. You can't. But I'm not going to dog you publicly. I may not agree with the people think about you or whatever. Like they said, I think Kandy was great. I just said, and I keep it at that. But you went on a full rant about something you don't have. First of all, you don't have 30 years. You just got 30 seconds. And the way you going, God bless you. That's number one. That's a read within itself. And you want to talk about thick skin. You're only able to do the drag that you're able to do because of people like myself that was on the front lines fighting for people to understand why we did drag, and we have a voice and we're not going anywhere. Those are the contributions we have made. Not sitting around talking about, oh, she 30 years. Baby, listen. And just because they placed you high on a reality show that is scripted like a motherfucker. Because, baby, I guarantee you, if you ever get in a pageant with me, I'll give you 2 categories before I even enter, and you still won't win. That's just facts. And lip syncing, let's not talk about lip syncing when you got 13 cameras on you. You got 13 cameras on you, and then you got a hell of an editing team. So quite naturally, anybody can look like the winner. Bitch, RuPaul could have actually looked like the winner sitting on the stage, and she didn't even have to take it with all them cameras. But get a camera phone, and me and you meet and take that stage again. It won't be the same, sis. But I'm not going to, and yeah, I'm reading, but I'm not trying to discredit you. I'm just saying, if you don't want to fight, don't pick a fight. I have not picked a fight with you, sis. I have let you make it in every aspect I possibly can. I even stay quiet because I know there are a lot of toxic fans out there. And sometimes when you say something, that's a green light for them to add fuel to the fire. I never wanted the fans or anybody to add fuel to your fire. You were already self-portrayed, so I didn't have to say anything. You showed the people who you were on the show every chance you got. I didn't have to add to that. If anybody with common sense sit down and watch your actions, they will understand what type of individual you are. So me adding to that, that's just not helpful. That's not 30 years of experience. That's the maturity level. Me accepting the fact that I went on a reality show that had my likeness in their hand and they could have done anything they wanted to with it. I knew that going into that, and I allowed that to happen. And it's okay. They did an amazing job with telling my story like I wanted them to. And I was fine with that. And it still stands. If I die tomorrow, sister, you holler about those 30 years, you still got to catch up. You still got to exist 30 years. And this is not easy in this industry. So, no, you don't have to like me. You don't have to put me on a pedestal, but you will respect me. Because I respect you just for being Kandy. I don't respect you for being Kandy, the top 4, whatever. That's make-believe. All that shit was fake and phony and blah. Okay. But I respect you for being Kandy because you are a fellow sister in this industry we call drag. That is why I respected you. Do I agree with your personality? Not at all. But it's not for me to judge or put you in a box, because in life, a lot of times where we start, we don't end. It's a situation. It's a growing process. It's a maturity level. A lot of times, when I started this industry, it was a lot of girls that we did not get along with, and years later, they were some of the best people that have ever walked into my life. So I get it. Not gonna tear you down, girl. I'm not. And it's killing me not to. I'm just tired. Because I got every right, if I wanted to, sister, go from A to Z. I'm not gonna do it. All I'm saying is be mindful of your words. Be mindful of your actions. You don't have to like me. But this is the thing, what I'm talking about, when we rude girls have a platform and we take it upon ourselves to get in front of a large audience of toxic fans. Yes, we have some great supporters out there, but we have a lot of toxic fans. So when they hear us say certain things about certain people, just like the little queen that was up there doing that, yes, you have to be mindful of your word, because now, to me, you edge that on. You didn't have to start that conversation with that. And even if that MC baited you into that, you could have refrained from saying that. You took it upon yourself to get a lot of stuff off your chest. For one, you're mad because I don't want to be friends with you, and which is understandable. But now you see why I don't want to be friends with you. Anybody can be fake and phony for a second and pretend like, hey, we get along, and then go right back to that. Girl, I'm old school. I can see straight through you. Once you show me who you are, I'm going to believe you. And by believing you is staying as far away from you as I possibly can. Do I wish you any ill will? No, I don't, sis. Do I wish everything that this franchise have for you, if you're the chosen one to get? I do. I do. I'm never going to stop a girl's dollar. Never. That's not who I am. But at this point, the thing with me and Monet, y'all have found out about that situation later on, but you have to come to my website and see my show. I'm not giving these free shows anymore because of all this toxic, and I do apologize. I really love this fan base, but I hate this toxic fan base. I don't understand who raised a lot of y'all, because if you are a child, you should stand a child's place. The things that y'all say in my inbox, if I was weak, baby, I'm probably would be jumping off the highest bridge. Y'all say some very disrespectful things, and just because you have a device and a mind to say them does not mean it's okay. That is why a lot of girls that have been on this show don't really talk to you guys, because if it comes from the top, if the top person, which is RuPaul, tells you do not read the comments and don't socialize with the fans, what does that mean? That means a lot. Unfortunately, I am ignorant, and I don't care anything about that, because I one thing I know, love will always trump hate. Y'all can hate forever and a day. The good thing about it is you don't know me, so I'm gonna still sleep well at night when you make your ignorant comments. That's not gonna faze me. Number one. Number two, I'm still going to eat well, because I was eating before I met you, and I'm going to eat after you. And I'm going to be fine with my drag that you may not like, because guess what? I have a place in Atlanta. I've always had a place in Atlanta. I've always had a place in any city I've lived in. Let me just give you a little history. I have lived in several states, and I've always been the show director. Let's say that. And I've never been a cast member, but I've always been the show director, meaning I've always been the head and never the tail. Let's start there. Now, let's talk about 30 years later. 30 years later, I now am once again the show management of an establishment where I have 3 shows. And what I did with those nights, I took the new generation of great potential in Atlanta, because 20 years ago, I was a part of the new generation. And we led amazing shows, which now have the top female impersonators and entertainers in the country. Not the city, not the state, but in the country. We helped to build that. I have had a lot to do with that. A lot. A lot of the big name girls you know now, regardless if you can socialize them with me or not, I have had a part to play in that. I've gotten this opportunity to start over and introduce these new babies, this new generation, to the community and show them the way so they can also be great. That's what I'm doing. I'm not running around here doing bookings and telling stories and making people laugh because I got in the top 4 of a reality show that is scripted from beginning to end. I'm in the community doing the work. And I just wish you find more time to concentrate on your craft, your wigs, your costume, your performance, and lay off of me. Because guess what? Mine are fine. Every time I come on here, I'm done. You can't say my lash is crooked. You can't say my hair is twisted, tangled, busted. You can't say that. And you never can say my face don't match my breast. Yes, I wear breasts. So it's a lot of things you can say. But 30 years is getting old, girl. 30 years comes with experience. 30 years come with consistency. Because I'm going to look the same every time, whether you like it or not. You know. And and I tell her about that's with the bag. That's with the bag. At the end of the day, find you something more tangible to being in the top 4 of season 13 RuPaul Drag Race than sitting around here adding to the toxic fan base we already have because you have a problem with one particular girl. And the only thing that has validated you is, well, I made it to the end. I made it to the top. But you was right about one thing when we were in that workroom. Simone was your biggest competition. You right. But if I wrote the script, I'm sure Simone would have been my biggest competition too. But at the end of the day, you still didn't win, sis. You're at the top and you can be great. This is the time to where you should prove to the people why you should have won instead of worrying about the old lady that's been in the game 30 years and her tough skin, because she not worried about you. She not. I don't mention you. I don't mention nobody I don't like. And I'm not finna sugarcoat it. I don't mention Tina. I don't mention Kandy. And I'm going to just leave it there because those are the 2 that I really do not care for. Those, I'm being honest. Those are the 2 out of the whole season that I do not care for. Now, there's a couple of others that I don't have respect for, but those are the 2 I don't care for. But it's not, and the one thing about it, I would never want anybody to hate on Tina, and I would never want anybody to hate on Kandy. That's just, we met. We did not click. They went north and I went south. And I'm fine with it. I don't wish nobody to hate on them or anything like that. But Kandy, like I said, I really could have went hard on this. And the one thing about everybody uses, and I just watched Bob and Monet's thing that they put together about Tamisha. I just watched it all. It was very funny. But the one thing they said, Tamisha, I think Kandy would have killed you. Babe, let me explain something to you. I don't know if y'all ever seen a young kid get in a fight with an older person. It don't usually go like you think. But I'm not saying, hey, I want to fight Kandy or anything like that. But just focus on your craft, sis. Focus on your crafts. Focus on spreading positivity throughout the community. Focus on getting that check. Focus on getting that money. Do all you can do to let the world know why Kandy should have won this. And guess what? If she go back to All Stars, she's gonna win. Focus on that. Don't focus on the old lady with 30 years, because I'm focused on Atlanta. I'm back to my roots, doing what I like doing best, and that's creating winners. And that's creating and creating a community of inclusivity for all. Showing people that have not interact with certain people how to interact with certain people. Showing people who desire is to be the best entertainer they possibly can. That's where I'm focused at. I'm not focused on, and see, like you type lies. You're such a miserable person.
See what's going on. Then in the middle of that, I saw the notification that Kandy Muse went live, and I was like, oh, yep, I'm going there. And screen recorded it all.
I'm gonna let y'all come in here real quick, just so we can get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna try to do this. I'm sorry, my eyes are red, my allergies are acting up, and I'm a little under the weather. But I'm gonna try to do this as calm as possible, and without really going off. Okay, so first things first, it is now 1 a.m, East Coast time in here where I live. And I'm being tagged on a live stream of Tamisha, where there's a live stream going off about Kandy Muse. Because Tamisha saw a video of me at my show at Queen for Queen at Pieces Bar Monday nights, about me saying, you have 30 years of experience under your belt, you should have thick skin. So she got mad about that. So let's go back to the beginning of the competition real quick. because I think that there is a level of consciousness that is lost here. When I walked into RuPaul's Drag Race, there were only a few girls that I knew before going into Drag Race. Tamisha Iman was not one of them. And I'm not saying that she is not a legend, because she is a fucking legend. And I've always given Tamisha her props. I've always given Tamisha her dues. You can look at any interview that Kandy Muse has done, and they ask about Tamisha. I always say, Tamisha has been one of the first older black pageant drag queens to come on the show and have the level of success in the fan base that she has. I've always given Tamisha her props. I've never talked down about Tamisha. Never. So, at the show yesterday night, someone asked me, have you seen the live streams with Tamisha? It is a public video. It is public knowledge. The public is going to have opinions when you are going on live stream talking about other Ru girls. Baby, the entire internet was talking about Tamisha Iman and Monet Exchange. So when they asked me about it, I said, if you have 30 years under your belt, there is no reason why you shouldn't have thick skin. Granted, I'm not dismissing her feelings, because listen, if you feel some type of way that Monet Exchange doesn't like your drag, that's how you feel, and that's fine. I'm never going to discount your feelings. I personally would not give a fuck. At the beginning of the season, I was sitting there and going back and forth with fans and going back and forth with people that did not like my drag. At this point, I don't care. Fighting with people isn't going to do anything. I don't care that you don't like my drag. I don't care that you don't like my fucking what I wore on the runway last week. I don't give a shit. Because at the end of the day, I know what I brought to the competition and I stand by it. Now, we can sit here and talk about toxic this, toxic that. I don't want to be toxic. Oh, I don't care about Kandy. Well, you made a whole live stream about Kandy, so there's that. You want to really sit here and talk about toxic? When? And then one thing she mentioned in her live was we can call or whatever. First of all, I don't even think we have each other's numbers. I haven't spoken to Tamisha since we even left filming, and right before the ball episode aired, I messaged Tamisha and I said, verbatim, hey girl, I know tonight's the argument. It's gonna get real messy. You have a lot of fans, but just so you know, like, respect, like, it's gonna be great TV, whatever it is, what it is. And this was after the 10-minute preview was posted where I said someone's my biggest competition. I was left on scene. I was left on red. That's fine. You saw the message. And that's all that matters. When the ball episode aired, you sent me a request. Bob, where are you? I'm gonna let Bob in. When the episode aired for Untucked, Bob, I just sent you. Ooh, there you are. Hey.
I really should not be doing this.
You shouldn't. But hold on, let me finish this real quick. When the episode of The Ball aired between me and Tamisha, after I had already messaged her and got left on red, I was getting, there's no secret that I was getting death threats and dragged throughout the internet. Me and my mother were going through it. Never not once did Tamisha speak up about it, but what she was doing was liking shitty tweets about me and reposting nasty things about me. So don't sit here and preach to the choir like you don't want toxic fans, but you're doing the same thing. So I made a little comment at my show when someone asked me a question about, oh, have you seen Tamisha's live? Well, it's a public event, baby. You said on Tuesday I'm going to read Monet's ass. So it's a public event. So when someone asked me about it, I answered. 30 years in the industry, have some thick skin. And I'm never going to discount your feelings. If you felt hurt by what Monet and Bob said, that is on you. But when I was being dragged for 4 months through the fucking mud to Drag Race, when Violet Chachki went on the pit stop and said, baby, Violet Chachki put 4 fucking nails in my coffin, I don't give a fuck. It's a review. We're putting ourselves on this public platform, and not that it's open season, but girl, people are going to have opinions about you. So, anyway, hey, Bob.
Hey, Kandy. And I've just been thinking so much today. This has been a wild ride of a day.
It has been something, huh?
Yeah, it really is. It's been so wild, and I've been trying to come from a place of accountability, come from a place of compassion, come from a place of understanding. And, my gut instinct, and I don't think it's just me, I think everyone's gut instinct is to just defend yourself
Absolutely.
until the end of the world and to defend your friends.
Baby, so you tweeted a photo of Monet and said Monet's my best friend. I will defend her to the. That's the same way I feel about my bitches. I will always go to the end of the world for my girls. And my thing is, you can't be upset that it's become this huge spectacle when you've made it this. You've made it that you set an event up on YouTube for people to come and see you drag someone else. But you can sit here and say toxic this, toxic that, because that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel but here's the thing: you can do that. Like people do it because I'm trying to navigate my life from a space where I'm allowing people to be wrong.
Hey, Monet.
Because I've been wrong too. So I'm trying to navigate from a space where I am allowing people to be wrong about things, because I've been wrong about a lot of things in my past. I'll be wrong about things in my future. It's a big part of the human experience. And if I'm looking at my part in all this, me and Monet, we play too much. We joke a lot. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it really kind of started when Tamisha once kind of said like a cryptic thing, being like, I'm going to read some of you girls. And I was like, I think she's talking about Monet. I didn't know if she was or not, but I just thought it was funny to keep being like, Monet's Tamisha going to drag you. But because Tamisha, put out this tweet that was, this message that was kind of like, once this contract is up, I'm going to get you girls. And then, but I'm also willing to recognize in this moment that it doesn't feel like light shade.
No, absolutely not.
Like it got to a point where I know if I feel this way at the end of the day, and despite what she says, I don't think that Tamisha's just laying down on a bed of clouds and sleeping like a baby. Absolutely. You know what I mean?
You wouldn't be making live streams about it if you were also unbothered about it.
And it makes sense to be bothered about it. That it makes sense for her to be bothered about it. And I'm wondering where we each find our part in this. Because part of me feels like everyone is so easy to pass the buck and be like, it wasn't me, it was you. It wasn't me, it was you. It wasn't me, it was you. Instead, at what point do we all say, maybe we each had a little bit in this? And you know what makes me the illest in my head as I'm getting ready to lay down? It's all the black queens.
And it's like I said, I would never discount anyone's feelings. And if Tamisha was hurt by what I said at Pieces Bar last night, or if whoever, I would never be like, well, girl, you shouldn't feel me, because that's not that serious. No, I'm never gonna do that. I think that there is a level. Respect is earned, not given.
I agree.
Prior to me walking onto the set of season 13, I did not know who Tamisha Iman was. After getting to know her, I know that she was an icon and a legend in her community. But when we walk onto that set of season 13, we all walk in with a clean slate. So you already demanding respect from me. That's not how that works. Respect goes both ways.
And the part about that too is, Kandy, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just trying to see my part in this, and I'm thinking to myself, like, part of it is like, I want to meet people where they are. And I want to, whenever someone introduces something that I think is morally wrong, it is, I think, all of our natural intention to do what they did. Well, she called me a bitch, so I get to call her a bitch. But if that is outside of our own moral compass, then maybe we shouldn't do that. And I'm realizing now that, not now, but I realized before, and I'm re-realizing it again, that I do that a lot sometimes. And I want to get to a point, for me personally, like, for example, I did a whole video today dragging Monet's looks. Because
I watched it, yeah.
Because that's what we do. Me and Monet, we drag each other. We think it's funny. I'm from the New York City drag scene. You know how the girls do. You get to the show. If you're a drag queen in Tina Burner's audience, she's gonna read you at some point, and then you're gonna read her at your show, and then it's just such a big part of the thing. But then also they are simping for you in the chat right now. By the way, they're all
I
simping for
actually
you.
got a text from someone. Apparently, something was sound the other live. And it sucks that it has to get to what it is, because I feel like, as someone who, I personally don't have anything against Tamisha Iman. Last time we spoke was when we filmed back last summer. We haven't spoken since then, nor do I care to talk to someone that doesn't care about me. I don't have any ill will towards her. I don't wish her any. And in every single interview that I've done, I've been very vocal about Tamisha Iman being the first older Black pageant queen to come on the show and have such a large fan base the way she did. And every interview she's done, she's been very vocal about why she doesn't follow me and a lot of the girls from the cast. What is that one saying? Don't throw stones from a glass house.
Yeah, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I got into a conversation earlier with the Vixen on Keisha Carr's live, and when I left the conversation, despite feeling like in the moment I was thinking, I just put a shirt on, so I look slutty. In the moment I was thinking to myself, like, I thought that maybe we were going to get somewhere, and then it really took a sharp left turn. And we pass the buck around. We say, because even in this moment, what my gut instinct is to say everything that she said that was wrong and why it was wrong, as opposed to saying, if I had all of your experiences, I would be just like you. If I was where Tamisha Iman is from, if I was gone through what she's gone through, had her body, had her parents, went to the school she did, had her kids, I would have ended up just like Tamisha Iman, making all the same decisions. And if I had all of your experiences, I'd be just like you. Mm-hmm. I would have that thick New York City skin where I get mad at first, and then I learn to move on. I see that with Monet a lot. Monet gets mad, and then we move on and we laugh about stuff. You know what I mean? And that's what I just try to keep in my mind. That's what I try to keep in my mind. If I had your experiences, I would have done the same thing you did, and try to come from that place of compassion. Because it does hurt my heart to think that Tamisha Iman is going to go to bed tonight and she can't get her orders fulfilled from her website. Her website's been hacked or whatever.
Absolutely. And listen, and like I've said before, and I absolutely agree with what you're saying, and and it sucks that happened with her orders for merch, and especially now with the pandemic, it's the way we make our money, and I wouldn't want that for anyone. And listen, I don't hate Tamisha, and I know she doesn't particularly have a good taste in her mouth about me, and that's fine. I've reached out to her several times to try to make amends after the show, and it has to happen. And it's fine. Not everyone's going to get along. Not everyone's going to like each other. Not everyone has to get along. We will respect each other, however. And I'm a very, what is the word, empathetic person? Sympathetic? When you feel for other people?
Empathy.
I do
empathy is when you feel for people, and sympathy.
And when I see, Tamisha, I feel bad when I see Tamisha going on live and going off on the fans, because I know that she has every fans. And I just, all I wanted to do after the show was done, I reached out to her and I make amends. Unfortunately, we didn't have a reunion, so we didn't have the opportunity to do that in person. The only thing I was met with at the reunion was I would have punched Kandy if there were no cameras around, and an entire music video dedicated to the other argument, which is fine. But hey, what can we do?
And then I would ask, like, what is something that the fans can do to help you in this situation? Like when you were going through the situation with Tamisha, and the argument had come out and people were really choosing sides, what do you think the fans could have done, or people in general could have done, to help you in a situation like that?
I think that so when the Untucked aired, you know, the internet was wild. I actually had to log off the night of the Untucked because it was just too much. And obviously we know that the Drag Race fandom is very toxic. We know that not everyone is toxic and not everyone's racist, but a lot of the fandom is that way. And people were obviously picking their sides. They saw it as I was being too much, being too loud, or Tamisha came in the room and did her thing first. I think that what people didn't, or what people failed to see was these are two queens in a competition who are a lot of under pressure, who are stressed out. It was the ball episode, meaning we had a very long day of shooting. Tensions were high. Tamisha had gotten red on the runway. She was in the bottom. She was low that week. So she came in hot, and I think people just didn't see, okay, these girls are just going at it because they're upset, and you know, they just saw what they really saw, because everyone had a preconceived notion of who Kandy Muse was before going on Drag Race. But they saw all that bitch is loud and too much, and she's a fucking bully, and she bullied Tamisha, and how dare she bully a cancer survivor. This is all things I've heard throughout the entire the past 4 months, and you know, even to this day. And I think people just need to separate what is real from what is television. And granted, yes, you know, in that moment, I don't regret anything that happened in that Untucked. I stand by everything I did and said. That's how I felt in that moment, and that's how I reacted. And that is what it is. I think people just need to realize that, you know, in a setting like that, when there's two drag queens and tensions are high, things might happen. I think that people need to be kinder to the girls. I'm someone who has thick skin, so I'm someone who's able to handle it. But that doesn't mean that the next girl is going to be like that. Look at the way they treated Britta last season.
The Britta thing was so hard because we lived near each other. She lived like down. She lived a few blocks down from me, and Britta was really open about how the criticism from the her experience with the fans led her to wanting to self-harm pretty severely. Yeah. And then the conversation became it's the review shows that are making her. But then I'm like, in my opinion, maybe we should have a conversation about mental health. Maybe we need to have follow-up counseling after RuPaul's Drag Race. Maybe the psych eval before the show isn't enough. Maybe we need to talk to someone after the show to make sure that we're still well. Because it is unfair to insinuate. It would be unrealistic to try to go into the world and expect no one to critique you. That would be we will never reach a place where the fans will stop critiquing us or where the other girls stop critiquing us. That is literally not a thing. We can advocate for it until the cows come home. It's never going to happen.
Do I feel like some of the reviews sometimes are a little harsh? Sure. But it's the way it goes. Listen, after the whole thing with Tamisha and me happened, I started therapy. Because it was, I have VH1 and the producer called me every single day to rule it. It was a lot to handle. I think that also, to any queen going on the show in the future season, if you and a girl have a certain situation where maybe you're in the wrong, she's in the wrong, when you both come out of that filming the show, and you're both out in the real world, and you see someone being attacked for the argument that y'all have, you set up for your sister. You don't post shady shit about, you don't repost shady shit about them. You don't like shady tweets. You don't go do interviews after your elimination talking shit about them. To come on the live stream and say, oh, there are 19 cameras and there's an edited show, and if we were to lip sync and or like, oh, you were dragged to the top 4 by producers as a scripted show. Baby, the only script I ever read on the show was the one that was given to me for the acting challenge. And
we also know too, that's all. But that's the thing too. That is all subjective. So whether or not Tamisha could beat you would be better at a lip sync is subjective. In theory, she is, and she isn't, because it's all up to the person watching. So she could beat you, and also you could beat her. It just depends on who you're asking. It's not like a foot race. It's not like where there's a definitive winner. It's all based on who you think should win. So that's what I'm trying to keep in my head. Just the way that, in my opinion, me and Monet and Trixie and Violet and everyone else and Bussy Queen and everyone else and Jake Yonsei are entitled to their opinions about the looks, Tamisha is entitled to her opinion to think that she could beat you. I do think it is a little bit problematic when you say stuff like you were dragged to the top. It invalidates you. It says that you didn't earn what you got. It says that because I didn't make it, it must have been rigged. But also, Candy, it says more about how she feels than it does about you. That says nothing about your talent. When she says you got dragged to the top, that says nothing about your talent. It speaks more about how she feels about you.
Yeah.
And it speaks about her. And that's what I'm trying to keep going on with myself. Whenever I was getting critiques, being told that my makeup was horrible, in New York City, we don't do that. You know that. In New York City, if you look busted, if you're doing a good job, we just go, girl, you're so funny. When I got to Drag Race and they told me my makeup was fucked, I was gagged. I was like, me? But I'm so beautiful. Everyone back home tells me that I'm great. Meanwhile, they never said I was beautiful. They just kept saying I was great. They just in New York City, we just celebrate you for what you are. We never tear you down for what you're not, at least in the drag scene. That's how we've always been.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Also, let's not get that twisted either, because I heard a few things. Listen, I am a bitch that had a show 6 nights a week here in New York City prior to the pandemic. I am Brooklyn's Drag Queen of the Year in 2000 and what year was it? I got the award right here. In 2018, I am a staple in my Brooklyn community. So,
and I know that.
And I would never want to sit here and devalidate. I don't even know, that's a word now, bitch. Devalidate someone's
invalidate.
Just because I have so many years under my belt. I am very aware that Tamisha is a fucking icon. I am very aware that she's a legend. I've given her flowers. Give her her flowers. Give her her doll hairs. Give her her coins, mama. Buy her sneakers. It just sucks that it has to come to this. And, you know, unfortunately, the way I look at season 13 is I went in there, I made a few amazing friends, and the rest of the girls were part of the cast. And that's just the way I look at things now because, you know, the sucky part about it is that a lot of the girls in the season stayed very, very quiet throughout the entire situation because they wanted to defend Tamisha. And I get it, you know. But I know who I am. And I know that I worked very hard to get to where I am. And I know that I worked very hard to be first runner-up on season 13. And like I said, I don't wish her ill will. And I came on here very respectful and not arguing and screaming because I don't need to do that. I have moved on from the show. Not the show, because I love Drag Race, and I've said this before. I do Drag Race 10 more times. I moved on from season 13. I am now focused on what I'm going to do next, and at some point maybe come back on the show. I'm not gonna sit and do petty arguments. I thought the whole thing with her and Monet was comedy, only because I thought the way Monet reacted to me was so funny because she was so unbothered. And that's it about the whole situation, really.
Do you think that you have a call to action in order of reparation of the situation? Like, for example, me, I was saying, I was putting out, and I'm putting out again here, like, whenever I go to Tamisha's live, and I will be honest, I am sucked into this. Like, I cannot stop involving myself in this. And I'm not one of the folks who's like, girl, I'm not bothered. I'm bothered.
Right.
We're all bothered. We're on live. We're all fully bothered. Girl, I don't care. I care. Bitch, I did a whole fucking show tonight and I got in drag in 40 minutes, bitch. I care the house down. You know what I mean? And because I do care, I'm saying this is an opportunity for us to say, hey, y'all, if you're going to go to Tamisha's page, post a heart. Don't.
Absolutely.
When you get there, just say, I appreciate you. You're an icon. I love you. And that's what I'm taking this opportunity to do with myself. You know what I mean?
Listen, Tamisha to me is one of the most beautiful queens to ever walk in. That her face is sitting and no one can tell her anything, okay? To the people that support me, to the 6,000 people that are watching this right now, to my fans, the people that know who I am, know that I do not stand by anyone going out of their way to bully someone else. I would never want anyone to go on Tamisha's page or Tamisha's live and say Team Kandy and you're bothered. None of that, because that I don't put that energy out there. I don't want that, you know. And from this point forward, I am letting it go. I will not speak of her name anymore, just because it makes no sense for me to even sit here and go back and forth with someone who we're never going to see eye to eye. I wish her the best in her career. And you know what, granted, maybe I could have sent her pieces where I'd be like, oh, girl, yeah, that was so funny. And I've been like, you know what, you have 30 years, you should have thick skin. Because at the end of the day, X amount of years on your belt does not mean that you should have thick skin. And maybe that was wrong for me to say.
And that's the thing. I was telling someone said, it's just the truth. Sometimes, this is so hard for me to get through my fucking thick ass head, that just because something's true doesn't mean it's not shady. You know what I mean?
Well,
like, just because we have a point when we say it doesn't mean that it's not fucked up.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
I've been really thinking really hard about like what it means to do these review shows. Do I want to do the review? I mean, I've done 2 seasons of The Pit Stop. I did a season of UK and I did a season of 13. And if people are coming away feeling bad about themselves, because not everyone I know can joke like me and Monet Exchange.
Correct.
Me and Bianca can drag each other through the mud, and it is fine. Me and Monet can read each other down, and it is fine. And some seasons, like for example with UK, Georgie really didn't like tea or coffee. They made a whole bit of it. They were able to laugh and have fun. But it seems like obviously Elliot and Joey felt really, they were like the fact that these winners need to drag down, and I'm like, in my head that's not what I was thinking I was doing, but I've always said this before, just because you didn't mean to step on my foot doesn't mean it didn't hurt when you did it.
Yes. Yeah.
Even if it was an accident, that does not mean that I am accepting that. I am publicly acknowledging that. I'm publicly saying, Joey J, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Tamisha Iman, we didn't mean to hurt your feelings. And even if I think they did something shady, I can't atone for them. I can't be like, but Tamisha didn't atone. Well, the Tamisha needs to do it on her own time. That's none of my goddamn business.
Yeah.
Me and the Vixen had it out earlier, and I can atone for me, but I cannot atone for the Vixen. I can't suggest when she should atone. It is all up to her to know that. And yeah, you're right, y'all. It's not a personal attack. But again, intentional or not, what happened. Thank you for inviting me on your live. I've always liked you.
No, thank you for coming on here. I stand you, and I listen to you and Monet's podcast. I thoroughly enjoy it. Anytime I'll be on a plane ride, I would put it right on. It's like you said, just because you set them up for a mistake doesn't mean that it didn't hurt. And this is when we take everyone's feelings into consideration. But this is where, like, okay, so like, where do we move from here? Like, so do we stop doing the reviews? Do we be more nicer? There's so much that plays into it. But
if we start doing the reviews, someone else is going to do them. Like, the girls aren't going to stop getting critiqued.
Oh, no.
And I mean, I'm a comedian. I don't have the answer to everything. I think maybe the answer is probably there needs to be some sort of aftercare after RuPaul's Drag Race, making sure that the girls know how to deal with this kind of stuff, making sure that we know what it is. Like, everyone's like, you know what you're getting yourself into. No, you don't.
Because let me tell
Until you think you know, bitch, you don't fucking know.
Let me tell you a little. On set, we were convinced. Everyone was convinced that I was going to come off of Drag Race and be fan favorite #1 because you think you know what you're getting yourself into. That was not the case when the show aired. Drag Race is an entire different ballpark. And sometimes for people, it's easy to sit behind the screen and say, your makeup was terrible, that room was bad, you should have gone home. But when you are on the receiving end of it, and when that show is airing and your name on Twitter is trending for 24 hours and you click on it and it is all how people hate you, it is a completely different situation.
Yeah, you can't, and that's why I hate when everyone's like, you know what it's like. No, you don't. Even like you, when you see your friend go through it, even though you're there I saw you at DragCon, you were there for all this stuff. Until it is happening to you, you do not know what it's like. Now, I am someone who does not take it personally. I agree with the notion, like, you got to learn to not take life personally, because I don't think we will ever get to a point where people are not critiquing us and judging us and having asking people to not have opinions sounds crazy.
Oh, one thing that I've learned, a lot of girls say, "Oh, well, you're just a viewer of the show. You don't know anything about drag." Well, they're the viewers. We are putting the show on for them to view. When the viewer watches the show, they're going to have an opinion. And unfortunately, we can't sit there and say, "Oh, well, how come you don't like me? Because I'm amazing." That's not, life doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
Yeah. And that is true. I agree. We everyone's here. Roxy Andrews is up here.
Roxy, Morgan,
got Nick.
Heidi,
They're all John Sibley. Girl, they're up in here.
And you know what? It's like RuPaul says. Unless they're paying no bills, paying no bitches no mind. It is hard to not read comment section. It is, at some point you're gonna come across them. We live in a social media world.
Yeah.
But I made it a point that since I think it was maybe after Denali's elimination to not read anything again. I stopped completely reading anything because people are going to have opinions. And I do want to make it very clear that what the fans say, or at least to me, I don't hold that for people always say, "Oh, well, how come Drag Race doesn't speak up?" Or how come, people always like to put the blame on Drag Race. And to some, I mean, when it was happening to me, to some extent, they did speak up about the whole bullying and death threats and all this. But it's difficult. Listen, I always say this: y'all will have a field day if you're watching season 2 and 3 and 4.
Ooh, don't go back and do it. Don't go back and do it. It was problematic. It was problematic. It was messy. Also, like you said, I want to quote RuPaul too. It's like RuPaul said: "There's oil in their heels." No, I'm kidding.
I'm not doing this for you.
It's like RuPaul said, if the camera's not rolling, nothing you say matters.
Girl, I'm trying to come back for another season. You're going to fuck me up. Get out of here.
I'll play it. Listen, I'm going to go. Nicole, if you're still here, I will text you back. Nicole Byer. Thank you for chatting with me.
Thank you.
I really like you. I've always liked you. And I mean, you're one of the people that we had a lot of opinions about. We loved you.
Absolutely. And I could just sit there and be like, girl, at the end of the day, girl, you can't please everyone, That's
true. That's fucking true.
Yeah.
True that.
And I want to come on the podcast one day, now that I have you here.
Yeah. Let's do that. All right, bye.
All right, bye, Bob. Loves you.
Yeah.
So that was that, y'all. Like I said, thank you, Bob, for coming on here. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. I wasn't coming on here to attack or tarnish Tamisha's name. I wish her the best in her career. I will no longer speak about Tamisha from this point forward. I will no longer speak about that Untucked. I'm moving on from that. I think we should all move on from that. I'm focusing on Kandy Muse and my career. I wish her the best. And that's that. So, with that being said, please do not send any hate to Tamisha. Please do not send any death threats or Team Kandy or you're bitter. Do not send any of that to Tamisha. Tamisha, at the end of the day, is an icon and is someone who y'all should respect. That she is going through whatever she's going through with her, Monet, that is a different situation. That has nothing to do with me. I was coming on here to talk about the little video that she saw that she was upset about. And you know what? I can't sit here and say, oh, well, it was a little, someone asked me a question. I could have diverted from the question. I could have. And I would never, I would never take away from what she feels. If she feels like I was coming for her in that video, I apologize to Tamisha because I was not coming for you. I was answering a question about a public situation that was happening that was very, very funny. And that's it. But if you want to have a rematch of the lip sync for your life, girl, let's book a show together. Let's make some money. You and I can make a lot of money together, Tamisha. I promise you that. But that's it with that. I love you all so much. What else? That's it. Anyways, bye.
I know that was a lot to watch, but if you stayed till the end, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a huge thumbs up and subscribe for Drag Race content just like this all the time. Subscribe to my personal channel, Bimini Bon Breakdown, for funny videos like edited dance moms, edited kids shows, stuff like that. And yeah, subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.